Hello crafters, Sabrina here from Mindcrafts by Sabrina. Today I want to do a short tutorial, and by that I mean I really am trying to do a short tutorial on my method of doing the score and slice for any of my larger than matte projects in Cricut Design Space. I had posted this tip on several of the Cricut Facebook pages and gotten a lot of feedbacks, a lot of different buzz, people asking questions or thinking it was just a very genius idea. But there seems to be still a lot of questions. I tried looking up a YouTube video that hopefully would have it, and I didn't see anything out there that demonstrated exactly what I was trying to share with you guys. So I thought I'd put one out there. For those of you who are wondering, what on earth is a score and slice method? Well, if you're doing a larger than matte project, that means one of your pieces is larger than the matte. It's larger than, 11 by 24, 11 by 23, and you need to cut it in order to, cut it. You need to slice the image in parts in order to cut them out and piece them back together. So prior to cutting mine out, I score them. And what I mean by scoring it is I score every layer that's going to be glued on another layer so that I know exactly where I'm going to glue it. It really takes the guesswork out of where my pieces go. So what do I mean? On this pony here, I have the full project, which is going to measure 36 inches high. And this is going to be my entire background. This is going to be the piece that needs to get sliced the most because it's 36 by 32. And I need to cut her up and then tape her back together once I have her cut out. I'm also going to score every layer that's going to sit on top of each other so that I know exactly where to place it. Again, it's going to take the guesswork out of where everything goes. So on here, I have, let's say, the brown hat. The brown hat has a darker brown border with the light brown pieces that are going to sit on top of it. And it has two light brown pieces. So what I'm going to do with those pieces is that darker brown piece is going to have your light brown layer scored into it so that I know exactly where I'm going to glue it. It really takes guesswork out of it, and I don't have to worry about ever putting it in the wrong spot and having to try and pry it off of each other so that I can replace it and reposition it, because it's going to be exactly where it needs to be the first time around. For those of you who are perfectionists like me, this was my lifesaver. So, here we go. Sorry, let's get into Cricut here. So here I have Sunset Shimmer. Sunset Shimmer, you can see she's going to be 36 by 32 inches. I have all my layers already ready to cut. It's just a matter of needing to be sliced because when I try to make it, it tells me that my images are larger than my 12 by 24 matte. I know that because my image is 36 by 32. My largest image being that full exact size, which is my golden yellow, that's my background piece. That again is going to be what we're going to be slicing for the most part. I will have other parts like the lighter yellow of the body that's larger than 12 by 24, and then probably some of those red hair pieces need to also get sliced. Everything else is probably going to fit on the regular 12 by 24 mat, and I'll just add some score marks and we should be good to go. So what do? First, I'm going to take my entire image and I'm going to duplicate it. And after I duplicate it, I'm just going to group everything together. I can't recall how, I don't think I have it all grouped. I'm going to group it together and then I'm going to hide the background piece, because what I'm going to try and do here is create scores on each layer. And I'm going to go with my backmost piece, which is the golden yellow, and I'm going to hide that layer. That's going to be the layer that we're putting our score marks on. So I'm going to hide that layer. I don't need it. And then this is the rest that's left over. I'm going to simply weld all those pieces together. And then what's left over are going to be the pieces that go directly onto the background. We can see here the hair, it lines up to the background, but then and there's a dark red in the back of it. And then the light red and the yellow goes on top of that. So those hair pieces are actually being glued on the red piece and not on the orange full background. So I'm not going to score those individual pieces. I'm going to score those individual pieces on my actual dark red and not on my golden yellow background. Okay, so I have my piece. Then I'm going to take my piece and I'm going to line it up. And this is why I'm using the Cricut app on my iPad versus my computer, because I love that feature. I love to be able to snap my layers right onto each other because it's awesome. I don't have to worry about, is it in the correct space or place? And when doing this score and slice method, it's imperative that they're lined up correctly, or else you're gonna mess up your entire project. You're not gonna slice them, and you might have gaps. They might be slightly off because they weren't lined up. Okay, so I have my background here, and I'm gonna change it from a cut to a score. So now I have my scores. You cannot really see it. Let's show you here. Here in front is my score. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to attach that score to the body, the background body. And now you can see there's my score marks. So on my actual background, I have the body of the pony on there, and then the hairs are going to line right up, so I don't need to score them. I'll slap my red hairs on there. Okay, so my background is done. My yellow pieces here, I've already determined those are going to go right on to my background, so I don't need to turn that into a score. Now I have this, what's her cutie mark? Like a sun, her cutie mark, her sun cutie mark. So let me ungroup this really quick because I have all my hair grouped. And let's get this sun here. Let's find the rest of her sun, the yellow part of her sun. Here we go. Let's ungroup that. Okay, so we have the yellow sun and the red part of the sun. And I'm going to duplicate those two pieces. And again, I'm going to change those to score. I'm going to lay them right on top of the original one. Again, you can see my lock feature. It's telling me it's exactly where it needs to be. Zoom in here a little bit. So, my full sun here, let's look at the layers. Oh, that's not what I want to do. I want to look at these two layers here. You can see the red is going to sit exactly on top of the yellow, and then the darker yellow is where it's going on the cutie mark. So I need to score my yellow sun, and I also need to score the body for the placement of the cutie mark. So let's attach the red onto the yellow. So now my yellow piece scores exactly where my red is going to sit on. So that's where my red sits, and it shows me exactly where that's going to be. Let's group that so we can hide it once we're done. And then let's hide it. my score mark now for my son exactly, that needs to go onto my body. So let's ungroup our body there. And we're going to attach the sun to the body. So now when I cut out my body, it's going to also score where my sun needs to be. Let's see if there's anything else on the body that needs to be scored. So here we can see the eyes. There's an actual cutout for the eye, so I don't need to score that. That's obviously placement is set. And then the hair piece also falls right into place. Both hair pieces fall right into place. So I'm done. I don't need those pieces anymore. And same goes for the rest of her body. So I'm going to hide. First I'm going to group and then hide the rest of her body. Okay, group and hide. So now I have her hair. So her hair obviously has 3 different sections, and I'm going to keep them in those sections. And in fact, I believe they're even too large, so I'll have to slice them as well. Let me ungroup everything there. So the largest piece here, which is the red background, it's 11.5 by 18.3. I believe that should be just right for our project. Up here, let's look for that dark red. That's that piece. Here's this hair. This hair is 16.8 by 17, so it's obviously wider than that 11.5. So we're going to need to slice that background. And because it has that horn, I'm probably going to slice it right at that horn part and try and make it look a little purposeful, not just, a big cut in the middle of her hair. And that final piece right there is 7 by 14, so that's a perfect size as well. So it looks like the only one we're going to need to slice is going to be that piece of hair. So we're going to do the exact same thing again. We're going to make our hair marks in our red background. So all those red and yellow pieces individually are going to score onto that dark maroon spot. So we're going to duplicate. I'm going to get rid of my maroon because that's exactly what we're working with here. I'm going to take each one and score them. I'm sure there's a faster way to do this. I could have probably attached them and they would have all converted to score, but you get what I'm doing here. So I'm going to score them. I'm going to weld them really quick. I can't recall if my lines will merge or not. Yeah, I lost my inner line. So we want to leave them as individual layers there. So let's go ahead and attach them together so we don't lose them. And then lock it again with this auto lock here and drop it into place. And kind of zoom in, you can see your score lines there now. There's our score. So let's attach our score to our hairpiece. Oh, not that. And attach. So now we have all the individual marks for the hair that's going to go on it. No guesswork. Move back. So here we go, score marks as to where every single piece drops. So I'm done with this. I'm going to group that and hide that. And I hide everything as I go. It helps me see that I'm making progress. So next parts, I grabbed something that I don't want. I'm going to duplicate. Oh, I duplicated eyeballs. I don't want the eyeballs. Not just yet. Let's get rid of those eyes. Okay. Let's get rid of your background piece. And then all of these pieces will be scorers. Let's see if I attach them. Will they all score? Nope, they changed. They didn't. So here we go. Let's score each piece or change them to score lines. And then line it up where it needs to go. Okay, and I'm going to attach it to the back. That's attached. Move it back so we can see what we've done. So we have our red background here with all the scores for our yellow and red pieces. I'm going to go ahead and group that and hide it. And I group them because it's faster when I unhide everything. I don't have to unhide each individual layer. I can just unhide the entire group. So that's why I do that. Eyeballs. The eyeballs are going to fall exactly in my face, so I don't need to score them. And then the eyeballs itself all line up to each other. So you see they all have the eyelashes portion. So I just have to line the eyelashes up and glue them. So I don't need any scoring on those. So I'll hide that. And then we'll work with this final piece. So here we'll duplicate one more time. We'll get rid of that piece. And that piece. And you know what? I'm going to also get rid of this piece because I'm going to have to slice this anyways, because this piece is larger than my mat. So I don't want to weld that and then slice it again. So I'll leave it separate. So here, this portion is going to get sliced, or I'm sorry, scored. So we're going to score each individual part. And then again, set it where it needs to go. Attach that to your background. Make sure I didn't grab anything else. So now we have our main hairpiece. And then let's also do the same to this one. Hide you for now. I lost my red piece there. Okay. For this piece, I'm going to, oh, didn't we duplicate that already? No, we hid it. So let's duplicate that piece, turn that into a score, line it up, and then attach it to the red. There it is. And this is why I say it could obviously get a little time consuming having to do each piece, but it definitely saves a lot of time during the assembly portion of it. I need to make sure I get rid of these. Don't want to have too many things on my mat that don't belong. Those two get attached. So here we have the red scored on there. Group, hide. Everything is hidden. That tells me I've scored everything I needed to score. Now I just need to go back and slice. So all those smaller images, I don't need any slicing with them because they're small. So I need to go back to that big hair piece and the body and the background. So let's start with the background. That's the most complicated, so we're going to start right there. It's the most amount of slices, and this is the main part anyways. So I stated that I'm going to use poster board. Poster board again being 22 by 28, and I'm going to create my rectangles just slightly smaller than that 11 inches. So I'm going to add a shape, and I'm going to size it up to be 10.5 by 23.5. And I know I'm losing, that ½ inch on each side, and I'd rather do that and be, I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'd hate to waste an entire cut because it was just off. So I'd rather just play it safe and not waste any paper than to just, or not waste the entire paper than to just waste that little paper. So I have my slicing square, and then I also need a scoring slice. The reason being, this image has both, we need to detach it, has two layers. It has the layer of scoring and it has the actual layer of paper. So if I'm going to slice up the paper, I also need to slice up my score marks so that my area, each piece has its appropriate score mark. So we need two squares. We need our rectangle to slice our solid, and we need a rectangle to slice the score. So I'm going to duplicate, and then I'm going to change that to a score. I'm going to line them up. That good old self-alignment feature. And then now that I have my section here, I'm going to make as many as I need in order to cover my entire surface area of the project. And I'll try to line them up, as strategically as possible to save paper as well as maximize the strength of the project itself. I don't want to put a slice like right in the middle of a leg when I know the legs are already separate pieces on their own. So it's just going to make the project flimsy in that portion, in that area. So I try and line them up, wherever possible to steer clear from that issue. So I'm going to just create a bunch of duplicates, as many duplicates as I need. So here we have another one, and I've already grouped it. That way my duplicate creates both my scoring and my slicing rectangle. We'll add another one. I'll come back to that part in a minute. Let's go ahead and turn this and put it up there. So now I'm going to have this little section and this little section, and that's fine. I'll end up arranging them on the actual cut mat anyways. So let's go ahead and get 2 more of those. I'm going to change this back around. Drop that here. My entire image is covered. I can see that that's not lined up. I lined it up to that. So let me get that back. Okay. And I'm actually not even going to need that one. After I cut everything else out, that's all that is going to be left. So it's unnecessary. So now let's go ahead and slice. Everything is on the board. I'm going to go ahead and slice. Now I'm going to slice one at a time. I need to ungroup it in order to be able to slice it. So let's go ahead and ungroup it. And I'll ungroup as I go so that I can see what I'm doing. So we're going to do the first one. We're going to ungroup our layers, and we're going to take, let me bring this up to the top so that I don't have to keep scrolling all the way to the bottom. Okay. So I'm going to take my score mark. Ungroup again. Sorry. Ungroup. Take my score layer and my squared score layer, which is one of these. This one. So we're going to take that score, and we're going to slice. So it leaves just this score mark, and that's the part I want. So let's get rid of the negative. And then let's do the same to the body part. So we'll take the solid, and we'll take our solid body, and we'll slice. And I hate that it does that. At the end, I'll have to go back and change my color. And actually, before I do that, this is what I normally do. I'll duplicate that. Just make it small and get it out my way. So at the end, I have that on the mat to get back to my true color. Okay. So let's go ahead and slice the solid piece. Get rid of the negative. Attach my score. I don't know that it makes a difference, but my OCD makes me bring it to the front so that I can see it. So there is my tail, and I don't know where the rest of my tail is. Oh, there it is. So there is my tail. Oh, I just moved it back. Duh. And I'm going to attach. So now I have my tail and it's attached. And if you see, I cut off a little bit of her foot. I wish I would have noticed that. I wouldn't have just cut that little sliver off. That's too small of a piece. And that's probably going to truly end up being just yellow border, not even the darker. So that's going to really bother me, but I'm going to leave it for now. So I'm done with that portion. I'm going to just hide it. Okay, now let's keep moving. So let's go to the next section. So I'm going to ungroup them. I'm going to take the slice portions. I'm sorry, the score portions, slice. That's the part we want. Nope, that's the negative. and then that is the portion we want. So then let's take the body and slice that as well. Get rid of the negative and attach your body to your score. Let me bring that forward so we can see our score. So there's our score mark. Done with that portion. Now let's take our next group here, ungroup it, take our score to our score and slice. Get rid of your negative. Take your solid to your solid and slice. Get rid of your negative. Bring your score to the front so we can see it. And attach it. And hide. Last piece, we're going to ungroup. Take your score to your score and slice. Your solid to your solid and slice. And I always make sure I do it this way because if you don't change your pieces to be scores, it constantly will change it on you. Like if you use a solid piece to slice a score mark, it will change your score mark to a solid. So that's why I make sure that my two pieces, one is already set as a score. So bring this front. This is my only thing that I dislike about the app. I like to be able to right click and attach and right click and do all of that stuff on the computer. So that is my one downfall that I don't like, but the pros outweigh it. Attach. And our last two pieces attach. So I'm going to go back and unhide everything. My other one I think is all the way down here. Or it's not. I lost it. Give me 1 second. Oh, I hope I hit it and didn't delete it. There it is. Nope, that's our hair. Okay, I found it. So all of our pieces are ready. Everything is attached. We're good to go there. Okay, so now I'm going to sync my colors back to my yellow. I'm going to get rid of that one. I need to figure out what red is sitting in here. I may have attached it to something. Oh, it's just there. Okay, that's my red piece. Oh, that's the part that we're also going to hide. So great, I need that. So let's bring that forward. Friends. I'm going to duplicate it for now just because I like to have my original piece on the mat. In case I mess up, I can just go back to where I was at. So for this piece, I'm going to slice it right around here and hope that that gives me a smaller than 12 piece. And it should. So let's go ahead and do a square. And let's duplicate that square and change it into score. Line them up. And then here, let's detach our score. Remember, we left everything individual there, so I'm going to detach everything, and I only want the score mark, the score line up there. I'm going to slice that in half. And I'm also going to slice the red piece. Get rid of our negative. And then attach. Well, let's bring it forward so we can see. And attach it. The rest of our hair should be all of these pieces now. And we'll attach that to our red. Attach. So now this piece is 9 by 17 and a half, so I'll be able to work with that. And that piece is 7.5 by 5. So now I'm good. They're good sizes. Granted, I don't have these poster boards, so in reality, I would actually have to slice these even more so that they fit on regular 12 by 12 or 8.5 by 11, whatever paper it is that you have out there. So I have that. I'm now going to get rid of my original piece, and I'm going to keep my sliced pieces. So we should be ready to go. Now if we unhide everything, it should work for us. It shouldn't give us the error anymore that says, our pieces are larger than our mat that we received in the beginning. So let's go ahead and ungroup everything unhide everything and test it out. This is one that my daughter is going to be gluing together. we have, we're doing all the Equestria girls and their pony versions. So I'm gluing the Equestria girls and she's gluing the ponies. And again, because of my perfectionism, this works very well, even though it's her room and I'm sure she wouldn't care, but she's just as much as a perfectionist as I and is very hard on herself. So I think this would help her and encourage her that it's going to look great at the end because, you know, she doesn't have to worry and guess where everything's going to go. It's going to tell her exactly where it's at. Feel a little independent as she does it on her own. So it's a win-win. Realistically, I would probably rearrange everything before I save my project so that I can actually see my image. Sorry, it's deciding it doesn't want to cooperate. So I can see it looks like all my layers are there. They're all kind of choppy, but everything is there. So let's go ahead and save this bad boy right here. Okay, and then make. Oh, it tells us one of your images is too large for the 12 by 20 format. So I obviously have something here that I didn't catch. Something is too big. And I don't know which one it is. So what am I going to do? I'm going to cheat for now. Because I don't think that it will be by much. It must be just a piece. You know, just slightly. So I'm just going to try and shrink it. Just for the sakes of the tutorial. I don't know what piece it is. Oh, our body. We didn't cut our body. Okay, let's go ahead and hide No, let's just bring her body up. Okay, let's bring her back to size now that we know what we did. Or what I did. Oh, and I didn't even have it locked. So I was changing the size completely off. Okay, let me lock that first. So her body, let's chop her up. Let's bring her to the front so we can see. Or let's just duplicate her. Let's do that. So here we go. These are good on their own. The horn is good on their own. So all we need is her body. I'm going to probably chop her, like, probably at the leg. So let's see what we get here. She's, oh wait, no. She's 21 by 31. What was she? 21 by 31. So that means I can do maybe 2 or 3 of these. Change these. Doesn't want to react. Sorry guys, I know we're like pushing 45 minutes right here. I think though at this point you can probably fast forward all the way to the end and see the results on the mat. By now you should kind of get the picture. Oh, we probably would unlock it here. 10.5 by 23.5, duplicate, score, align it, and then align her and slice her all up. So let's see, I can fit, I want to try and not chop her legs up too much. So I'm going to do it like this. Looks like I don't need the score in this case because her score mark is going to come with her, or with that section right there. So let's get her detach. Body, slice. Oh, and I didn't do my duplicate. That's okay. Let's do it again. Get rid of your negative. Bring back the cutie mark on the body and attach it to her body. Oh, and what I didn't do was line up this one to my other one before I sliced it. Don't make that error, because while yes, I can line it up to the exact slice itself, I don't like doing that. I just think it leaves room for error and it not getting lined up appropriately. So you can see there it snaps to my middle, so I know I'm at the right spot. And I'll slice that there. Gee willikers, I changed my color. I don't know where my iPad's going. Runaway iPad. Sync my colors back up. So now each piece should be a good size. 13, that might be just slightly over. We'll see what it tells us. Let's see. It is. So now I really am going to just, or did we, let's see, maybe my duplicate is still in here. Or not my duplicate, but the original body piece. Yes. So let's hide that. Let's see now. Nope, still too big. So let's go ahead and just shrink her. She's not exactly lined up, but good enough. You want to make sure everything is, nothing is hidden when you go back and start resizing everything, so that everything gets sized with it and you keep everything proportionate. going to just shrink everything a pinch. Let's make it 34. Oh, no, that's not scaling. Okay, let's make it 34. There we go. So it says only one of our images is too large for the 12 by 12. Let's move it to a 12 by 24. Yes, let's do that. Let's wait for it to arrange our mats and prepare our cuts. Should have probably hit save on that one more time. So we have our white mat, our yellow mat. Here you can see our sun has the score mark for the red. No score marks. Our green for the eyes, black. Remember, all of those layers just line right up together. None of those have any score marks. Here we have the score mark for the cutie mark. No scores, no scores. Our red background pieces have the scores for our hair pieces. Scores for our hair pieces. This is our main background piece, so it has the score for the body to lay on. Scores for the body. And then on this one, what I would more likely do is duplicate this and then hide contour and make it two separate pieces. That way I can shift them around versus this being one whole piece. I would be able to move that up and save some paper and, obviously move some mats around. So here you can see the score. It won't zoom in. More scoring. So it looks like we have a total of 19 mats, but once I finesse it and change around all the layers and move things around, I can fit things onto several mats and it should be good to go. Then you'll go ahead and cut it, you'll glue it all together, and ta-da! Well, thank you for watching. Again, I'm so sorry that it's longer than I really wanted it to be. But if it makes you feel better, it is 8:30 and I've been trying to record since like 6:30. So it's taken me 2 hours. You only got to see 52 minutes of it. So let me know what you think. I hope this is really helpful for you guys. Drop a comment. Make sure you stop by and give my page a like. Minecrafts by Sabrina. Till next time.